Eric Kussin was a successful executive with several professional sports teams. One morning, he couldn't get out of bed to work. And that began a journey that changed his life. Eric, I want to thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You're a superstar. You've been all over the place, worked with the NBA, started out very early, went to the NHL. Total hard worker, total guy who was going to go get him every single day, and then one day you just couldn't. What happened?
I didn't realize it at the time, but what happened was this buildup of the stress and trauma that I had dealt with previous life experiences had finally impacted me. And so the same way, the analogy I can make is plaque builds up in your arteries. The things that I had witnessed with my brother going through a number of sicknesses when we were children, and then the loss of friends, that ultimately ended up catching up to me to the point where—
Friends of yours who have passed away.
Yeah, my friends who passed away, exactly. And so looking back on it now, you say to yourself, wow, of course, why didn't I realize it? But I think we grow up in a society where we're not taught to look at our mental health the way that we are our physical health. So I was using work, right? You're a very ambitious person, and you're charging hard with your job. As you mentioned before, the careers that I had, I was working hard in my job as well. And so I thought that was a productive thing to do. But what I was doing was neglecting working on some of the things that happened to me in my life prior to.
That's not a realization that came quickly or easily to you. It was 2.5 years of struggling before something finally broke through. What was it?
So I spent 2.5 years laying in a bed, essentially dead to the world. I was trying 50 different psychotropic drug combinations, and none of those were working. TMS therapy, ECT shock therapy. And ultimately, I learned to heal through the practices of breathing. And you say that, and you look and you say, wow, that's simple. But certain rhythmic breathing practices where a nerve in your neck, your vagus nerve, I learned to relax that nerve, and it sends messages throughout the rest of your body that everything's okay. It's not like what it was when you were a child, where at every moment the shoe may drop. So once I learned that breathing practice, my body learned how to relax, and I could go about my normal day.
You know, a lot of people deal with issues like this, but a lot of people don't talk about them. You made a decision back in 2017 to write down and share your experiences. First of all, why'd you do it? And then what happened when you did?
So I didn't have social media. I had LinkedIn and Facebook only, not Twitter and Instagram. And so I wrote it, the whole thing on LinkedIn. And this is before DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Love. So coming from the sports world, my thought was, let me put all the information out there to try and help people. I was not concerned with the stigma, because I was more concerned with the fact that I had gone through hell for 2.5 years. Once I got through that period, there was nothing else that was going to upset me or that I was fearful of. And so by putting it out there and then seeing the reaction, you asked about the reaction, it got read by over 100,000 people in the first week.
And this was not a short post.
No, yeah, that's 36-minute read according to media, right? And the incredible thing was the reaction from people who called. I had over 400 calls in that week. And from all over the world, people will call, because I put my personal telephone number on there. And the common thread was, I've been through something. It was almost as if I was their therapist. No one was mentioning a disorder name. No one was saying, I have PTSD as well. They were all talking about what they'd been through in life. And when I realized that, I realized there's a common thread here that we all face challenges. Why shouldn't we talk about it that way?
Yeah, in fact, your organization that you've set up is called We're All a Little Crazy.
Yes.
Love the name.
Thank
I
you.
agree with it.
Thank you.
But what are you doing? Because you are trying to work with people in the workplace.
Yeah, absolutely. So two areas I would say from a macro standpoint. One is awareness. So because of the name, We're All a Little Crazy. Crazy is meant in a fun way. Mm-hmm. We're taking mental health, and instead of the concept of 1 in 5 people are ill, mm-hmm. what we're saying is we all live somewhere on this spectrum. And so we should attack this together. So that's the first piece of it from an awareness standpoint. From a programmatic standpoint, we have a campaign that's called Same Here. I think I was showing you as your thumb at your chest and your finger pointed out, which means you face challenges and I face challenges. Why aren't we talking about it? So we build all of our programs around that name. Within corporate offices, we call it Same Here Safe. Mm-hmm. And the reason it's called Same Here Safe is because no one feels safe talking about an office. That's the feedback that we got. People are afraid they're not going to get promoted, or worse, they might get let go. So we go, and we actually just did one with with Monumental Sports and Entertainment, with the Capitals and Wizards, with all of their employees. And it's so rewarding to see people kind of get it when you present it in a way to say, we're not going to talk about depression and anxiety today, and that's not going to be the main topic. We're going to talk about the fact that divorce and the loss of loved ones and stress at work is actually something that happens to all of us, and that's okay for us to talk about it. And when you talk about it in that context, what it does is it gets people to open up a lot more.